Don't forget, ko-fi.com/stopwritingalone is a real simple way to show your support for what's going on here week after week. Hi, everyone. This is Nicole Rivera, and you're listening to the Stop Writing Alone podcast for writers who are looking for their writing community. I know you want to find readers for your work, but I think your first step is to connect with other writers. That's what we're going to do here in the Stop Writing Alone podcast. We'll do writing prompts and other writing group activities, discover online writing communities, learn how to find local writing groups, or how to make your own. Join us as we explore, learn, and write. Hi, this is Nicole Rivera, and you're listening to the Stop Writing Alone podcast. I've been home from my family trip for 3 days, and this is the first moment I'm sitting at my desk. Not only have I not sat here, I came home and I pushed my desk all the way up against one of the walls because the first day back, my son had virtual field day. So we were doing a lot of different sort of exercises and things in this room. I wanted to give him room, and I had zero desire to put my desk back where it belonged. Zero desire to even sit at my desk and get to work because I was still in some kind of vacation mode or something. I don't even know. I thought I was really looking forward to coming back. And once I got back here, it was really easy not to. I got into the whole spring cleaning thing. And so the topic that I've had on my mind today and this week is really like finding a way back into whatever is the thing that you are, passionate about, and for whatever reason, either the love is lost or you are just blocked. And what do we do? And as writers, we often have this discussion about writer's block or just not knowing what to do next in our projects. But it comes up in all various aspects of our lives, our routines, relationships, our health. I mean, in this year, with everything going on in, the pandemic, we all kind of have to find our way back into like regular living too. So I've been really thinking about it and trying to assess like what works for me and how I approach each of these situations and sort of bring it back to this one. It was a lot easier than I thought to settle on the process that I use in this situation. It's 3 steps, 3 pretty simply stated steps, but maybe not easily implemented depending on where you're at with giving yourself permission to do these sorts of things. So this step 1, if you are in a place of not knowing how to get back into the swing of things, and we can talk about it as writing if you're in a story or a writing project or staring at a blank page and just not knowing what to do next, you're finding your way back in. Step 1 is a total out as far as I'm concerned. You walk away, you do something different. And why? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. So for instance, and I'm really able to see this quite clearly right now because in this moment, I am feeling very ready to get back into normal post-quarantine life. And I wasn't, as much as I knew I needed it, as much as I was aware that, I was vaccinated and I could safely move forward, I just couldn't, as the title of this episode says, I couldn't find my way back in. I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know what to do. And so I needed a total out from what I was doing every single day. And that's how this family vacation of ours worked out. It wasn't like a trip to a resort or some, touristy space. It was to a family's house, so it wasn't, that adventurous, but it was a total out from what I was doing every single day. And so thinking back to our writing projects, I think you have to walk away sometimes. And I say this, I've said this to you a number of times in this podcast. If you've been listening, if you're a long time listener, I'm always talking about these creative breaks or shifting gears into another creative outlet or just going for a walk or what have you. And this is the bit that I'm saying, will you give yourself permission to do so? This is just part of my nature. I know that I'm very streaky and I like breaks, and then I work very hard and then I need another break. But I was really, really happy to see this exact topic addressed in Writer Magazine. It was a whole entire article on how the importance of taking time out is, just as important as showing up to the page, that this is part of the writing process. I was reading the article and just kept saying like, preach. This is what I keep saying. I've said this over and over again. But I think in particular, if you're in one of these spaces where you're like, how do I get back into my story, back into my passion, back into whatever it is that you're feeling like offbeat, and I think that's a really good sign that you need to do this total out in some way. And I think the statement of total out is what I really want to emphasize here, because sometimes people do give themselves permission to say, all right, I've been sitting in front of my computer, for 2 hours today and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going to walk away. And then they show up like the next morning, same time, same place, and stare at the computer again. And I say, well, I did my walk away. I think you have to give yourself the complete, like whenever we have a tech problem and people say like, oh, did you shut it down and start over? It's never like, did you shut it down and turn it right back on, right? You have to unplug, wait the 30 seconds, or sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's 2 minutes, like a total hard reset. And you're going to know what the time frame is for that, because it's different for everyone and it's different for every single project. But that's always my step one. For finding a way back in, step one is to get the hell out. Because if you are in, the middle of this crazy mental labyrinth, you're never going to be able to see what's going on from the middle. You need to step out. So that's step one. Step two is to decide if it's worth it to go back to where you were standing, to go back to that space, or what part of it is worth it to return to. So when you get your total out, when you get your total reset on something, and again, I'll bring it back to the writing, right? If you're in a story and it's not really, you're not feeling it, you're not finding your way through, when you're on the outside, you can then say, what about this story is the thing that I really want to write? Is it, is it even there anymore? And perhaps it is, and maybe part of the reason you got lost is because you wrote a little way off kilter, and now that you're outside of it, you can see, oh, that thing that I did for the last 2 days is the problem. That's what I need to get rid of. I need to sort of step back. Or, there are those honest moments where you say, this is not the project I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to go back into this right now. I'm going to do something else. Whatever the decision is, that is going to lead you directly into the final step, step 3, and that is finding your way back in and stepping back in with intention. Once you make that decision about what is worth it for you, what is the thing that you wanted to do in the first place, well, now you can go back in with intention and do it. And, again, applying this to where I'm at right now, we took this break from the humdrum of pandemic life of where we were here at home and just sort of surviving the days and doing all these things. Spent this time away with family, and while we were away from our home, and even though we were still upholding like most of our routines, we were still doing the remote learning and teaching from home. I was still, showing up here for the podcast and the YouTube and all of, my social media stuff from home. It was different because it wasn't like under this roof, and it wasn't in the same sort of environment, really. I mean, it's just completely different. So I could say, what are the things that I'm doing that are worth it, that I really want to make sure that I do when I get back home? And what are the things that I want to, really invest my time in as I move forward? Now I can do so with intention. And on your writing project, when you've stepped away from the blank page or the muddled project, and you've decided what is the thing that you really want to be writing, you can go in with that same passion rekindled and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm refreshed, I'm ready, I'm going in. And I think that's really the easy 1, 2, 3 path whenever we sort of get lost on anything. It's a very sort of simplistic way of looking at things, but again, it's one of those things that's very easy to say, maybe not the easiest thing in the world to do. If you're feeling sort of overwhelmed by writing, a passion project, anything, step 1, total out. Just give yourself a break from trying to muscle your way through the thing. Step 2, decide what is it about that thing that was worth it for you in the first place, or that is still worth it to you to invest your time in. And then take that focus, take that idea and go forth with it. Go in and find your way back, using that kind of as your beacon to get back into finding your way back in. Simple. 1, 2, 3. If you'll allow yourself to do it. So yeah, I took a little total out, a break from my desk. I walked away. Even when I came back to my home, I recognized that I wasn't ready for it, because while I was away from home, yes, that was a total out. Yes, I walked away. But I think if I came in and sat down right away back at this desk, and I think I would have slipped right back in. I would have slipped right back into my old, as I'm thinking of it here metaphorically, the insanity of pandemic life. And I saw it as I still need a total out. While I'm in this home, I need a total out for a moment from this desk, right? And all that it represents. And I spent the last 3 days really just cleaning around the house, doing the spring cleaning thing, and thinking about what are my next steps, what's worth it, where do I want to invest my time, how do I want to invest my time, how do I want to balance it all, now that it does seem like I can find a way back into all of the other aspects of living that really have been on hold, for lack of a better term, for a year. Yeah. And so here I am, finding my way back in. And it feels kind of good to sit here again and get ready to get back down to business now that I'm home. So I'm curious for you guys out there that if we've all had some sort of moment where we've gotten in the murky waters of our writing, either in the physical writing of a project or the writing routine, the writing life, finding our community, whatever it is. What has been your process to find your way back in? Do you have a process yet? Like I said, I was really surprised when I sat down to think about, like, what is my process for doing this? And it's like, wait, no, it is just 3 steps. It is these 3 steps. But that first step, that total out, it always takes me an extra beat to recognize that I need it. And I think kind of now that I sat here and really thought it out and gave it sort of this name, I've called it out that is step 1. I'm hoping that means that next time that I find myself in the muddle, that I will like say, oh no, I got to do my 3 steps, total out what's worth it, then go back in with intention. But yeah, do you have a process? Maybe it's the same process in some form or another. Let me know. And otherwise, I will talk to you guys next week. This week, I realized as I was looking at my calendar tonight, is our writing prompt party live on Zoom. So check the show notes for the link for the email list for Stop Writing Alone. This way you can get your Zoom link if you want to join us. It's on the 4th Friday of each month at 7 p.m. Eastern. I host a live writing prompt party. And if you do miss it, if you can't make it to that time, that is the NV Rivera Friday Night Writes video of the week. So the 4th Friday of every month is it's not just me. I am not writing alone on that week, while the rest of the weeks are me sharing writing prompts and exercises for everyone to do on their own. So, yeah. Like I said, it'll be in the show notes. You can check it out there. I'll also put a link to the Writer magazine that had that article about taking a break, because I don't remember right now if it was the June issue or July issue, because both of them were waiting for me in my mailbox when I got home. So it was one of the two. And I think that's all that I have to share with you. But there's always fun goodies in the show notes. So have a fabulous week and happy writing. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the Stop Writing Alone podcast wherever you're listening to this episode today. Then connect with us on Facebook at Stop Writing Alone Facebook page or in the Stop Writing Alone with Nicole Rivera Facebook group. Check Instagram or Twitter where I'm at NV_Rivera to find links to our email newsletter. Recording, hosting, editing, producing. It's so much work. Disaster has struck. I finished my coffee. Tell me coffee is coming. ko-fi.com/stop writing alone.